Hey guys, it's Nathan from the Kentucky Cycling YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be doing something a little different. I'm going to do a DIY handlebar upgrade, and this is not something I typically take on myself. I don't really fancy myself much of a bike mechanic, but this is something I thought something I could do, so I wanted to take you along for the journey. So first I want to talk about what I'm actually looking to do. The bike in front of me is my Salsa Journeyman. This is Salsa's entry-level adventure slash gravel slash all-road kind of bike. And they actually outfit the Journeyman with a Salsa cowbell handlebar. The Salsa cowbell handlebar is actually one that I like for a road bike. And if you actually look over here at my All City, it actually came stock with a Salsa cowbell bars, and I think they make great drop bars for a road bike. I can appreciate why Salsa would actually put these handlebars on this bike, because this bike has a lot of versatility. It'll do both 650B, but also comes with a 700 C setup as well. If you're going to be doing more road riding, I think it makes a lot of sense to use the more traditional drop bar setup. What I'm looking to upgrade to is the Salsa Cowchipper, which is actually sitting right above this, and I want to talk a little bit about why I want to make that change. So if I actually come up from the top, you'll actually see a big difference in the two bars. The cowbell's on the bottom, the Cowchipper is on the top, and the Cowchipper, you can see, has a wider flare. What I'm finding is that when I'm doing a lot of gravel riding, which is how I primarily use this bike, I don't actually spend a lot of time in the drops on the current setup. However, I think I would if I had a wider, shallower bar that would actually give me a position to get more stability. I tend to ride on the hoods, and if I go down here, I think this will give me a lot more position, and plus it'll put the brakes on more of a little bit of an angle, and so I can, get just a more stable riding position on the bike. Kind of, if you look at the profile here, you also see that the drop is actually less. I'm going to start into this job, and I don't need a ton of tools. I've got something to be able to cut away the tape for the old bars. I'm going to basically be using different hex wrenches, and when I go to retighten everything, I'm going to be using a torque driver to be able to make sure I get the right tension on things. So the first thing I'm going to do is pull out the end plug so that I can unwrap these bars, and I thought that I might actually need like a screwdriver or something to create some leverage, but these are actually just plastic and will come out rather easily. So just do the same thing on this side. Fold back the hoods. Do the same thing on the other side. And once I get the hoods pulled back, you can actually see that here's the hex bolt, or that's going to be used to loosen up the braking system. So I'm going to start by unrolling the bars, getting the bar tape off. Alright, so I got the bar tape off, and the next thing I'm going to do is, you can see they've actually, so it looks like Salsa used some electrical tape, which would be great because I have that on hand just to kind of strap the shifting cables and the brake cables into place there. So I'm just going to carefully cut those off without actually hitting the cable themselves. So got the tape off. That was easy to do. Next thing I'm going to do is actually come in here and loosen the brakes on each side, and then I will proceed with taking off the faceplate off of the stem here, so that I can actually pull away the old handlebars, and also slide off the old brakes as well. I've got the faceplate off, the handlebar removed, and there's probably some, you know, professional tip that I'm not aware of, but I just let the brakes and shifters kind of, you know, hang from their cables, or I'm sure there's probably some best practice there. If you're aware of that, maybe make a comment below. But I'm gonna take the time and kind of re-grease the screws here that are on the faceplate, and as I'm putting those in, and I'm gonna put the handlebar in and just kind of tighten those enough to get it to hold into place without tightening it down, so that I can play with the position. So one thing I want to point out is that on the handlebar itself, there's a line that you can see at the very top of the, behind the faceplate at the top of the handlebar, that actually designates where the center of the bar is. So they give you that, and I was worried that I couldn't see it where the faceplate is. So I will now begin tensioning this down to kind of hold it in place where I think it needs to be initially, using that line as a guide. Alright, so I've gotten the new handlebars on and centered and in sort of their initial position, and I'll before this all is said and done, I'm sure I'll play with the settings a lot to get adjusted to my particular liking. I apologize for all the sweat in this video. It's a hot summer day and I'm out in my garage where it's a bit of an oven, so it's going to be a sweaty job from here on out. But now I'm going to proceed with putting the brakes and shifters back on the new handlebar. Okay, so obviously I've got some adjusting to do, but one thing I wanted to point out on the handlebars themselves is there's markings to actually indicate where you are relationship to on the handlebars. So this is going to be primarily a feel thing. I want to also be able to make sure that when I'm riding that actually I get more of an angled grip than I would on a road bike, and you know, when I reach out I want to be able to have that, you know, stability while I'm actually braking, which is kind of the part of the appeal of this bar. The other thing, and you can see actually from the top that these are not quite lined up, so I'm gonna mess around with this quite a bit before I get my, you know, sort of final thing dialed in here. Tightened each of these down to 6 Newton meters, and for the stem it was actually written right on here in terms of the value. Sorry, that's upside down. It was written right here in terms of that faceplate, and I couldn't find anything on here, so I had to look online, and most of what I read said you have to do between 6 and 8 Newton meters. My torque wrench goes up to 6, so I'm going to set that for 6 and tighten those down. So I am going to go ahead and tape these into place. Alright guys, so that's basically it. It really was not hard. I'm basically just going to roll the hoods down, take it for a little test ride, and get it dialed in. This will be part 1 of 2. Obviously I'm not going to just continue to ride like this. I'll do a tape job as well. And I'll once I've got that video published, I'll post a link to that. It'll be part install and sort of initial impressions on some bar tape that I purchased. So here we have it, the Salsa Cycles Cowchipper bar installed on my gravel adventure rig. And I hope that what I'm able to accomplish with this is to show you that if I can do it, you can likely do it too. But this is a fairly simple job. I think this will make a significant difference in my gravel riding. Easy do-it-yourself job. As always, if you found this information useful, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks.